3.
I don't want to be too gruesome, Jeremy, but we're going to talk about my gun to the head exercise for creating good offers with cold outreach. Okay.
That's
So,
American thing, of course.
yeah, I won't detect any European humor there, but yes. And here's the idea: like when clients come on board to SalesBread, I need them to get results, and in order to get results, a lot of factors play into it. But the offer is it the most important one? Maybe list can be
Well, that's a
argued
good
that it's most
question.
important, but it's probably the second most important thing. How good is your offer?
So if someone comes with a rubbish offer, it's always hard to get them results. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. So now we do something called the gun to head exercise, which has done a pretty good job of tightening up weak offers. And I want to go through it with you. You want to throw in 10 minutes
Okay,
to this timer?
here we go.
Okay, Jeremy. So typically, when you start cold outreach, you might say, okay, here's who we want to sell to. And this is the thing we want to sell them: web design service, manufacturing consultant. And so when you start from that point, the messaging tends to sound like, um, are you interested in manufacturing consultant? Can we help you with? And oftentimes that leads to a pretty weak message. So let's flip it upside
Mm,
down. You're no longer doing cold outreach, Jeremy. You're no longer thinking about running a campaign that's going to take months or potentially years, right? Right now, you just have a gun to your head. And if you do not get your buyer to hit reply right now, you bite the dust, my friend. Now that's gruesome. I hate the image. I really
well,
do because I'm
it's
I'm I'm
pretty
not a violent
aggressive.
guy. It's very aggressive, but that's the point. It's and let me add one thing to this exercise. I think it's a very important clarifying point. Right now, Jeremy, you and I are still in fantasy land, which means you are free to send any message that you are confident will get a reply, and you do not have to deliver on said message.
Mm,
Meaning you could say, hit reply and I'll give you $1 million sent to you via Amex gift card. Please respond within 5 minutes. You could say that during this exercise process. Why? Because it gets juices flowing.
right.
Okay. And so what's kind of fun is we've been starting a lot of these writing sessions as this like dream fantasy world. You need a reply or else. And what's cool is like my client and I can just kind of riff. Okay, well, certainly if we said, I'll give you $1 million if you reply in 10 minutes, that'll probably save your life, right? In this exercise. Now let's take a step towards your business. Now you can still offer anything and you're not accountable, but it's got to tie into what you're selling. Okay, so my web design client might say, like, dude, for the life of your entire entrepreneurship, I will build every single website you need for $1. You just got to say yes today. Okay, sure. Like that's probably going to save your
Yeah.
life. Let's keep going. And with every iteration, we take a step closer to reality until we get to this magic scenario. So like, here's what's cool, Jeremy, and like, uh, appreciate the image for a second. There's a spectrum of the offer that we've talked about. On one side, it's like high commitment, join me for a 30-minute demo. On the other,
Yeah.
uh, is this interesting? But like, there's a same spectrum with offers. And this is like what I've learned is the real sweet spot, the real rub, the real question that you have to be asking yourself. It's the spectrum of how comfortable you are extending your offer. So, like, if I notice my client starts to squeam a little bit when they're like, ooh, I guess I could offer that, but do I have to? That's when you know you're getting into the right territory. When you match something that makes you feel uncomfortable, it means a lot of
Mm.
your competitors ain't doing this. And therefore, you're probably in good offer territory. But
Ah.
you only succeed when that offer passed the stomach test, meaning if someone called you out and said they want this offer, will you give it to them? When you get that first yes, writing session is off to the best start possible.
That's so very nice. What how many steps does that take usually, or how long does that take to
Not
actually
a
come to
lot,
there?
not a lot, because so in the beginning, the gun to head in Fantasyland is literally just to get one or two ideas down on paper. It helps the business owner get through the just writer's block kind of phase.
Right.
And then from there, it's actually a much quicker path towards stepping towards reality, because this is what they're more comfortable and familiar with. But it remains the job to see where we can play on this slide of how uncomfortable that we're going to be presenting offers. And what I find in this session, Jeremy, is the offers go from ridiculous to feasible, and we almost never talk about the boring, can I send you a PDF kind of offers that might have been presented if the exercise didn't begin, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Uh, it's not always about money, so it could also be about like speed of execution, right? So it's like, if you reply yes, then by tomorrow or by next week, you're gonna get XYZ, those sort of things. So there's a couple of things that, I mean, I remember like Alex Hermosi's got in his book, whatever, $100 million offer, I think. He's talking about like also the likelihood of success, that people perceive, but also then the time to get the success. And is that also something that you use in this exercise? Like,
Not
how can
really,
you?
Jeremy.
No.
Yeah. So the exercise has one goal, and it's what can we offer that will get a response?
Right.
Okay. So unpacking that a little bit. So you're saying likelihood to succeed. It's been a while since I read that book.
Oh,
Refresh
so
me and the
I
listener.
think I think the example is pretty straightforward if you're in the weight loss stuff, right? So for example, if you go liposuction, I don't know even if it's English, but like surgical removal,
Liposuction.
yeah,
Yeah.
liposuctions, then the chances of removal is 100%, right? Versus
There
the
you
one
go.
of training, is more like, less chances of that to work. So and then there is also the speed factor, like at which speed you can actually remove, the fat
Oh,
and stuff.
that's
So
cool. So
there's a lot of things. So in your example of your, sorry, I just want to say like for your design guy, that could be like, hey, we promise to have a website turned into 24 hours or something like that, or it's like we promise a website that will convert at 5%, which is likelihood of success. So you got some
so
other stuff you can play
I'm
with.
gonna throw a wrench here, because
Sure.
the cold outreach offer does not, and often does not, have to do with your service or product deliverables offer.
Hmm.
Meaning, Jeremy, I'm going to be in Zurich next week. I want to meet up for a coffee. That's an offer that's got nothing to do with what I'm selling, but
Yeah,
it
but
is
you're
an
not going
offer
to
for cold
say
outreach.
you got a million if you turn up to this spot in Zurich.
Keep
That's
going. What do you mean by that? Do you mean that
well,
that'll have a low chance of response?
no, but that's the point of like again to your head.
Uh,
The example we were talking about was like a web
but
service, not a meeting or networking.
so I should be clear, like the gun to the head should pertain to your business, at least in the second or third round, but it does not like I don't know if I'm such a fan of like product service offers and cold outreach. Like I tend to think about like that foot in the door offer more, where like sometimes like we've got um whatever, we've got some campaigns running that have a lot to do with helping a prospective client out, um that is not tied to their service. Like we had one of my favorite, and I mention it all the time in consults. Somebody came to our podcast, and I'm going to forget their name. Shame on me, because they were brilliant. During COVID, we were interviewing them. We're
Oh,
like,
I
how'd you
remember that.
have your best quarter ever? They're like, dude, we just offered N95 masks. One of our sales reps had a connection and had a warehouse guy with a bunch of N95. So we reached out to the top 100, and we said, look, I know you're in hospitality. You need these N95 masks. We got a bunch. We'll give them to you at cost. Like if it'd be helpful, let's do it. Hopefully I can get a meeting with you about this, enterprise software we're selling down the road. But how's it sound? So that's probably, I wish it was said up front, but like, that's what I want more folks to hear. Cause like that Alex Hormozy approach, look, I'm not going to poo poo it. It's great, but it's very much about like, what is your business going to do for your buyer? When in fact, some of the best cold outreach, look, if you do a podcast interview campaign, that's an offer that has almost nothing to do with what you sell. And yet I see it every day yield to business outcomes. And it's important to just keep that in mind, that this gun to head offer doesn't have to be about like a thing you sell percent, you know?
So how about we take a concrete example then about that stuff then?
Perfect. Jeremy, let's say I want to sell you, what do you want to buy, Jeremy?
Good question.
You want some
Um,
stickers?
let's say a CRM. That's really hard to actually just differentiate yourself with CRM. Like if someone approached
Great
me with a
question.
CRM,
All
it's just
right.
like, I don't care.
Can we go over a little bit? We'll
Yeah,
blow
yeah, yeah,
past our
sure, of
timer
course.
here, but this will be fun. All right. So CRM. Great question. Okay. So then what's the play
Like,
here? Like, am I okay?
the
Let's keep
gun to
going.
your head,
So
yeah.
perfect.
Wouldn't that be like, hey, I give you
Let's do
$1 million
gun.
if you
Let's
jump
do
on
gun
it?
to head.
Okay, $1 million, and
You
then if you say
you give me
yes,
5 minutes. You give me 30 seconds. You join me for a Zoom call. I don't care if it's 30 seconds or 30 minutes. I'm just going to wire you $1 million, and you're going to say,
okay,
all right, yeah. So let's go to level 2. Jeremy, if you join me for a Zoom call and you just share some feedback about the CRM I'm building, I'll give you $1 million. Okay, great. Now it ties down. Let's go to level 3, right?
okay,
Okay, perfect. So in this example, I kind of got to know what I'm selling in order to give me a bone here. But let's pretend I built like a pipe drive, but it's,
yeah, sure.
for lack of a better idea, it's half price of pipe drive. Okay, great.
I'd like
So
it something else than price because I think that's a too easy thing. So let's say it's pipe drive for golf course.
Slack. Oh, okay. Pipe drive for golf courses. All right. We're still in fantasy land. That's okay. Let's keep riffing.
Yep.
We're still in fantasy land. All right. Jeremy, I saw, you posted on LinkedIn that you took your team out to your favorite Greek restaurant the other day. I know you got 140 people at your golf course. I'll tell you what, you let me give you a pitch for this pipe drive
Oh, I
CRM
love
for golf
it.
courses. I'm gonna take your whole staff out to get some Greek food. How's that sound?
Okay,
Okay.
that's pretty good.
So cool. Let's
But that's
keep
probably
going.
something you wouldn't say yes to, on your
I
end, right?
wouldn't.
At the
No.
minute.
This is still the comfortability
Yeah,
scale. I'm
it's pretty
I'm
good.
too uncomfortable. There you go. Okay,
Pretty good.
let's keep going
Okay.
here. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to say, like, let's go one level deeper. I'm going to say, Jeremy, you got a golf course and you're using pipe drive, and I keep hearing that pipe drive has been letting down the golf course community so much that I'll tell you what, if you let me show you how our CRM is better for golf courses, and you do not immediately sign up to be a year-long customer, I'm going to give you a $500 Amex card, buy your team some lunch on me, whatever. That's how confident that
Okay,
it's going to
that's
address
good.
these pains. Okay.
That's really
So
good.
now, like, honestly, we can stop, because if I gave a demo to the right golf course
Yeah, you'll be happy
and
to pay
the
$500 the
numbers,
demo or
yeah,
whatever.
the
Yes,
numbers
of
could kind of
course.
do that. I think I'm there. Now,
Okay,
in
that's pretty
reality,
good.
I would keep going 1 or 2 levels, because like good songwriters know that you want to write multiple verses before you
Of course.
finish up the song. It's the same with cold outreach, but I think like exercise demonstrated, and I'm kind of proud where we ended up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good, and I think it's really great. So, in my mind, it would have been things like, hey, I was already thinking is already like if you buy and stuff like that, but it's already way too late anyway in the sales pipeline. So me telling like, hey, I can guarantee you that this CRM will like double your rate, whatever. Otherwise, I refund you or whatever. It's already like at the sales level. It's not really the outreach, and I think that's what you're getting at, right? Yeah. Okay,
That's it. Now
makes
the
sense.
sales angle can work. It can for sure work. And frankly, throw it in at like
Yeah,
one of
sure.
the messages. You got plenty of
As
chances.
a follow-up, I think it's great.
Yeah. I think more of us need to pay attention to that opening offer, that foot in the door offer. Cause let's go back to Sir Robert Cialdini, that we probably cite more than anybody on the podcast. He's
So
like,
true.
when
It's so good.
you ask someone, hey, would you put a sticker on your window for me? It's about, preventing drunk driving. Everyone says yes. And then when you go back to the people that say yes, hey, can I put a big ass lawn sign that says don't drink and drive? 70% of them say yes, compared to 14 that did not first put the sticker. That's what we're going for here. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you happen to know a lookalike book to influence, to never split the difference, I am currently seeking more material on the psychology of the first conversation. Jeremy and I like riff on this topic pretty much every single episode, but I feel like the world is kind of not providing enough good stuff. So if you have some science-backed first conversation psychology, I want to know about it. You could reach us podcast@quickmail.io, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
That's the one, baby.
Speaking of which, quickmail.com for cool outreach, and salesbread.com for lead a day.
There you go. Bingo bango. Well, Jeremy, that was a fun one. Thanks for doing the walkthrough and putting my money where my mouth is there. I liked it.
That was good. Thanks for the example. Appreciate it. All right.
Cool, man. All right. Catch you
Bye.
next time.